Okay guys, so I'm in the middle of making this Seashell dreamcatcher mobile, and I just really wanted to share it with you. Unfortunately, I did not think to actually video the beginning of this process. I got a metal hoop and tied a dreamcatcher pattern into it using really thin purple ribbon, and then I stranded beads and seashells using fishing line and tied them equally spaced around the hoop. Now I'm repurposing an old Halloween costume headband, and I'm using the gold band to cover the metal hoop of the dreamcatcher. Hot glue is like duct tape, it fixes everything. With that being said, to attach our gold band to our metal hoop, we're going to start off by hot gluing it all the way around. We had a little material left over, so we're just going to cut that off and then add a little more hot glue to make sure there's no straggling pieces hanging off. We're going to add a little extra security because while hot glue is amazing, it does eventually give out. So I'm also going to tie a fishing line around the hoop at each point of the dreamcatcher. I looped the fishing line around the hoops about 10 to 15 times and then tied several knots to make sure it doesn't come undone. Now it's time to make the hanger for our mobile. We are using thick crafting wire because the shells are pretty heavy and we want it to hold up for a really long time. I did not measure my wire out. As you can see, I just kind of rolled it out and pulled it to the length that I want it. I cut 2 pieces and folded them in half so that I'm left with 4 ends to attach to the hoop. Then I added my hanging hook and situated them in the bead clasp that I'm using to hold all of them together. So I am extra and I decided to try and hold this bead in simply with the wires. It took a lot of patience and ended with me adding a little bit of hot glue inside under the bead to make sure it doesn't fall out. And extra as it may be, it turned out looking really cute. Finally, it's time to attach our hanger to the hoop. To make sure your wires are attached securely, wrap them around the hoop a couple of times and then clamp them with some needle nose pliers to make sure they're nice and tight. You can either attach all 4 wires to the hoop equally spaced apart, or you can do 3 as I did and let the last one hang down in the middle, and in a minute you'll see that I added some beads to that as well. I also added 1 single bead to each of my attachment wires. And we're done! Please let me know what you think of it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please tap that like button and hit the subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from me in